Howdy from blazing hot Middle Tennessee. Thought I'd do a quick video of my car that's for sale here. First of all, on this hot day, I need a little homemade brew. Nice American Pale Ale, my favorite. So here's my car. It's an 88 MR2. It is a Mark 1.5, which I'm sure most of you know. A Mark 1.5 is a Mark 1 with a Mark 2 turbo engine. This one, pretty solid body car. No rust on it anywhere. Absolutely none on the chassis whatsoever. Solid Southern example of a Mark 1. These are very hard to find these days. Most of them are, even if they have a little bit of rust on them, most of them are pretty rusty. This one was bought new in Huntsville, Alabama, northern Alabama, and after that, shortly after that, went to Middle Tennessee, where it's been for the rest of its life. I've had it for the last 12 years. Had it since 2000. Bought it with 145,000 miles on it. Had a blown head gasket. I fixed that, and then about 5 years later decided to put a 3S GT engine in it, and that's what I did. And I'm sure everyone wants to see the engine, so we'll pop it open here. As I said, this is a 91 JDM 3S GT engine, the Gen 2 engine. I got it with about 50,000 miles on it. It was under 50,000, and I've probably put maybe 12 or 15 on it since I put it in the car. This is actually the second engine I had in the car. The first one spun a rod bearing, and I just happened to have this extra one here. So I decided to tear it down while I had it out, and basically replaced every seal and gasket in it. Replaced the head gasket with a new Toyota gasket. I did use ARP head studs though. We have lots of performance goodies here, a lot of ATS Racing stuff. We have the ATS Racing throttle body inlet, ATS Racing fuel rail, fuel pressure regulator, ROM-tuned ECU, which is in the trunk, of course. We have the CT27 Turbo, which is, this is a rare CT27. This is one of, I think, 2 or 3 made with a ceramic turbine. So it actually spools up a lot faster. It's similar to the CT20B, which is the turbo that's in the Gen 3 3S GTE. Only this one is probably better, as a lot of people would say. Also, you can see this little deal here. This is methanol injection. This is a full 100% methanol is what I'm shooting in this. I think that's, if I recall, I have to double check. I think it's a 500cc injector. But basically, it shoots 100% methanol. This is the pump here in the trunk, and this is the tank there. I don't use a whole lot of methanol. It's set to go off, I think, at 10 psi. So in normal driving, keeping under 10 psi, it never even shoots any into the intake there. But it's good to have. Adds a lot of power to the car. And of course have a super AFC here, which also is tuned to pull out some of the fuel from the stock ECU. Well, not stock ECU, it's actually ROM-tuned ECU. But basically what it does is pull fuel out of the car, and which in turn advances the timing. So that adds some power too. Also, you'll see the air-to-water intercooler there from a GT4 Celica. It is plumbed all the way under the car via some copper tubing and some hose to the heat exchanger here, which is from a Mustang Cobra Supercharged. And this does a great job of keeping the intake temps down. Wonderful job. I would never have a forced induction car again without an air-to-water intercooler. Let's take another little drink of beer here. All right. Let's see. The wheels. These are 16-inch TSW Volcanoes. They're kind of a grayish silver color. Kind of match the car pretty well. The tires in the rear, or the ones in the front, are Yokohama S-Drives. They have probably about 80% tread left on them. Pretty good tread. The rears are Falcon, and they're 225, 45, 16 in the rear. 205, 45, 16 in the front. Yeah, the rear tires, they're pretty shot. They don't have much tread left on them, and will probably need to be replaced soon. For some reason, this car goes through rear tires pretty quick. The brakes, the front brakes are Celica turbo brakes. The caliper is anyways. The rotor is actually the stock 88 MR2 rotor. The rear brakes, we have a 93 MR2 turbo caliper with Volkswagen Corrado rotor. This is the big brake, rear big brake. Let's say that again. The rear big brake upgrade that you can see online that many people have done. The interior, pretty good interior, probably about a 9 out of 10. The car's been garaged most of its life, so that kept the interior in pretty good shape. No cracks in the dash or anything like that. Seats are in pretty good shape. Typical stuff like that. But all power options, except for cruise control. I think it doesn't have cruise control, but everything else that Toyota offered in '88 on the MR2. Some Celica pedals there. We have a custom sub box there. It's got a 6-inch kicker sub in it. Not too bad. So better than the stock stereo Alpine there, you'll see. I think we have the stock speakers have been replaced with I think Pioneer in the front, Kenwood in the back. I'm not sure, I can't remember. Anyways, a couple of other goodies here. Here we have, this is a Janus knot guard system, which is an awesome little system. This is actually just the display. The system is in the trunk. But basically this is retards timing in individual cylinders when it detects knock, unlike the stock system, which would retard timing over all cylinders. So this one just finds the problem in the one cylinder and keeps the power going in the others. And it also does a much better job of doing that than the stock system. This little deal here is dyno tune, lean shutdown switch, and it also doubles as an air-fuel ratio gauge. I do have a wideband hooked up to the car, LC1 wideband system. What this does is basically it shuts down or turns on a 12-volt accessory based on air-fuel ratio. So, for instance, what I can do, the way I have it hooked up to Greddy Profect B boost controller, and currently I'm running the most boost I can with the actuator, which is about 18.5, 19 psi right now. And basically, what this thing does is I have it set for probably about 12.9 to 1 AFR. If it gets to that above while I'm boosting, it'll shut down power to the boost controller. Basically, you go to stock boost. So it kind of keeps you from blowing up your engine. So both of these do a good job of that. So, of course, nothing is 100% foolproof, but they help a lot. And also having the air-fuel ratio gauge there is cool. Plus it does a couple of other things. You can check out your leanest and richest AFRs on a particular run, and it does some other cool things, but basically that's pretty cool. I believe that is it. I'm going to have another drink of beer. It's pretty hot out here today. Man. So I am asking $7,000 for the car, and that's as low as I'll go right now. So this is a bargain for this car. Most people are paying $7,000 just for that swap in their car. And not only do you get the engine, but you get a nice, solid specimen of an MR2. That is very rare these days. So I'm sure I didn't cover everything. I'll put links on the video to some more detailed stuff. Any questions, just give me a holler, ask me, and I'll try to answer your questions. Oh, one thing I'm noticing, the exhaust here. The exhaust is custom 2.5-inch exhaust with a MagnaFlow free flow muffler. It does have a high flow cat on it, which I did gut, so it's all free flow now. It still passes emissions with flying colors, even with a gutted cat. KO racing downpipe, that's 2.5 inches also. I think that's it. Anyways, I'm sure I left something out. Also, some homebrew beer included in the purchase of the car. So, that's always enjoyable. Anyways, thanks for watching. See ya.